Well, let me break the news to you. Donald Trump won Iowa. So in case you didn't know that.
Was it a big victory?
It was a very big victory.
Well,
I'm wondering just what you think about that. Look, I mean, he's got a commanding hold over his party right now and his base and of pretty much all aspects of the Republican Party.
There's still I think, a very liquid movement in the Republican Party that's looking for something different. And I think that's why you see Nikki Haley's been doing so well. And I think, this New Hampshire will be a bellwether state. I was up there last week and talking to people, and they're, it's the most independent state registration-wise. I think there's over 40% of the people that are registered to vote are registered as no affiliation or independent. And there's about 350,000 of them, and there's 100,000 that historically do not show up and vote in primaries. If they can get those out, that makes a big difference because, as you're saying, if the polls are anywhere close, then it could throw a real challenge and a real difference to what the outcome will be.
I mean, are you concerned about Trump's apparent march to the nomination here?
Well, I think if you're handicapping it, that's what you would have thought a long time ago. It looked like it was moving in that direction. His base has been pretty much immovable, if you will. And no matter what he does, no matter how egregious it is to our society or to our country, it seems to bolden him. So there's people identifying something that everybody else is missing. But, we need to be looking at the border. We need to be looking at the economic situation that we're dealing with. As James Carville said way back in, it's the economy. But it's the economy. It truly is. People in West Virginia and people in hard-hit areas economically, they're not looking at the portfolio. They're looking at basically the day-to-day life that they have to live. And so they're concerned, and then having energy security. I mean, they're not talking, the president's not talking, President Biden's not talking about the things that have been done with a lot of the legislation. And most of it that has been done that's really helped the economy has done in more of a moderate, conservative, centrist way, not in a very left-leaning or an extreme right-leaning, and that's what people really want.
Do you agree? Haley said last night that the country does not want another Trump-Biden rematch. Do you agree?
Well, again, and when you look at the polls and what you all are putting out, if you're accurate or close to being accurate, it shows that very strongly. But again, no one knows. So you have to wait until Super Tuesday, I think, to really get a clear indication of where you are, who's still in it, and what's at play. That's when it'll tell you. And I know people talking about a third-party run, this and that. I've never been a spoiler, never would be participating in a spoiler. But on the other hand, is there a way that we can save the country and bring people back together? How's that going to be done, and who can do it?
Yeah. I mean, is there an opening? I mean, you're up in New Hampshire. Is there really an opening for a third party?
They don't want what they're seeing now. They don't want the direction the country's going. And that's from a very independent state. They're not extremes. I didn't run into any extremes except people that were protesting, and that was a group that came from out of state. And when you think about the IRA bill, we've done more with the Inflation Reduction Act to produce more energy in our country, to make us more energy secure, and we've invested more in clean technology for the future. It's an extremes one. It's all one way or not at all, and that's the problem that we have, and people don't want that.
But I mean, there may be people who want a third party, but is that a viable path?
It's extremely tough. You know that. It's extremely tough, but we've never had this situation. Again, if the polls are close to being accurate, you never had this many percentage of people within their own party structure that are looking for something different. Can President Biden bring it back towards a center left, or center more so than the left where it's perceived to be now? And Donald Trump's not going to change. He's told you exactly what he'll do if he gets in, and when you have part of revenge as your policy, it's pretty scary.
How seriously are you thinking about third party?
Well, I'm thinking that is there an alternative? You're talking about me personally. I'm looking for an alternative that basically can bring this country together, and that's what we've done with Americans Together.
Yeah, but you personally. How serious are you personally?
No, I'll do whatever I can to help my country, and I've said that. There's a lot of good people out there, a lot of very, very competent people that can do this job and could do it and do it very well. I think where mine might be more attractive to some people because I've been able to weather a lot of the storm that's come at me, and if I can't go home and explain it, then I don't vote for it. Doesn't matter. Party doesn't drive me. Party doesn't own me. Parties can't control me. So there's, I think, a lot of people that feel like I do. They just need to step forward.
But look, the window is closing. It's January. elections in November. You got to
Yeah.
put an organization. You have to run a campaign. The window is closing, is it not?
I don't think there's a lot of campaigns that have already closed that have been out there for quite some time.
But for a new campaign to run, the window's
No,
closing.
it's not going to be a primary. You're not going to have a campaign in the primary if there's a third party of any sort. The independent candidates you have out there now are really running and going at it pretty hard. What are they doing with the final outcome? Does that hurt or help one candidate over the other? We just don't know yet. I think it's too early to be told. But once you know you have the main Democrat candidate and the main Republican candidate after Super Tuesday, and it's pretty well sorted out, then they'll start looking at all different alternatives if there is.
So you'll make a decision after Super Tuesday?
I think anyone who's going to make any decision of how we help and bring our country back together and have Americans working together rather than trying to divide Americans, you'll know more of what the challenges you're going to have and what the obstacles could be and what the benefits could be.
So your lane, if you were to run, or someone like you, the lane would be the moderate Republican voters who are disaffected with Trump. Wouldn't that essentially elect Donald Trump then?
No, you would have, I mean, there's this, I come from a long line of very conservative, moderate Democrats. And where have they gone? Are they all gone independent, or they're still in that are identified as Democrats that just don't vote the strong, extreme Democratic position? It's early to say, Mono.
But you would be peeling away Biden's support.
The only thing I've told you, I would never be a supporter. If I saw that spoiling to one side or the other, I mean, I'm very much concerned. I just said, and I've been very clear, I love my country too much to ever support or vote for Donald Trump. That's all I can say. It's not personal, it's just what I've seen, what I've observed, and what would happen to our country. And on the other hand, I would like to see the Democratic Party and our president move more to the center. I think it's going to be very challenging staying in the left, in that left lane.
What's next for you? You went to New Hampshire, where are you going next?
My daughter Heather is kind of setting things up, and we're going to areas where people want to sit and talk, where they want to basically exchange ideas and values. And it's great to hear from them and what they're looking at and what they haven't found yet, and then where they're leaning. And I think it's going to be New Hampshire's going to be could be a real eye opener. Could change things a little bit.
If Haley does better?
I think that.
But if she gets trounced, then
that's a whole other story. I didn't see that happening. What I saw, unless it changes in 1 week. So we'll just see.
And have you talked to the president at all recently?
No, not recently. No, we haven't. I'd love to. I'm sure we'll talk soon. Yeah. And nothing's scheduled. Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
All right.
See you,
Thanks.
buddy.
Nice to see you. All right. See you. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.
See you.
Appreciate it.